Wait, they left. Like, everyone without saying anything. What the actual fuck? Last week I woke up to a house so quiet I thought we were being robbed. No footsteps, no chatter, no clanging of Ron's weird protein shake blender. Not even the sound of his kids screaming at Call of Duty. It was just silence. I walked into the kitchen. No breakfast stuff, no jackets by the door, no car keys. Gone. Everything, everyone, just me and my dumb cereal bowl. And that's when I realized they went on a trip I had zero clue about. My name's Jake. I'm 17, and this isn't some dramatic Reddit fanfic. This is literally my life, and that was the moment I realized something was seriously deeply broken in my family. Let me back up for a second. My parents never married. They hooked up after college, didn't expect much to come out of it. But boom, I happened. My mom, Karen, decided to keep me. My dad, Mark, stepped up like a fucking legend. They made a deal, shared custody month by month, switching between their homes. It's been like that my whole life. And weirdly, it worked. I always thought I was lucky to have 2 houses, 2 bedrooms, 2 families. Like, sure, it sucked. Packing up my stuff every month, but at least both my parents were around, you know. Then, 2 years ago, Mom met Ron, owner of a local furniture business. Nice enough at first, widower, 2 sons. Looked like a discount Nick Offerman with a superiority complex. I tried to be cool with him, even nice. Big mistake. A year ago, when the silence started. At first, Ron would make small talk, ask about school, what games I played, what music I liked. I thought, hey, maybe this won't be so bad. Then he just stopped. No warning, no fight, nothing. One day he just decided I didn't exist anymore. He didn't speak to me, didn't look at me, didn't say bless you when I sneezed right next to him. And his kids followed that cue fast little zombie soldiers. It was like living with ghosts, except I was the ghost. I asked my mom what the hell was going on. She said, it's just how Ron is. It's not personal. How is ignoring your stepson for months not personal? 6 months ago, they all moved in. Before the wedding, Ron lived separately. His sick mom stayed with him, so it made sense. After they got married, though, everything changed. He dumped his kids and himself into our house. But the silence stayed. If anything, it got worse. Imagine this. You walk into a room and 3 children run away, like you're not even there. Like you're a stain. My own house became enemy territory. Mom? She didn't stop me. She just told me to be mature. That Ron had his reasons, and I should make peace with it. Screw that. What were my reasons for putting up with it? This summer, the ultimate slap. So yeah, back to last week. I was on summer break. No school. I was staying with my mom for my usual monthly visit. Things were cold per usual. No fights, just frostbite level avoidance. Then that morning came. They were gone, vanished. Like a damn heist movie, but emotionally abusive. I called her. She answered with a tone like I interrupted her massage. Oh, hey, sweetie. We're on a trip to Cannon Beach. Just a short family getaway. Could you watch the house while we're gone? Could I what? I wasn't asked. I was just assigned to be the house guard dog. I straight up told her, you don't get to drop that on me without telling me. I'm not some free security system. She just sighed and said, you're overreacting. We'll talk when I'm back. Click. That was the final straw. I packed my HT, locked the door, slid the spare key under the mat, and headed straight to my dad's. When he saw me standing at his door with my duffel bag, he didn't say anything for a full 5 seconds. Then he just opened the door wider and pulled me into the biggest hug. Something happened, he said, not a question. I nodded, and for the first time in 2 years, I let it all out. I told him everything. The silence, the rejection, the weird cult-like treatment, the damn vacation. I cried. I'm not proud, or maybe I am, because holding it all in, that almost broke me. That night at my dad's place, I actually slept. No cold glares. No fake family dinner where no one speaks to me. No pretending I didn't hear them laughing in the other room like I didn't exist. Just silence. Peaceful silence. The kind that doesn't make your chest feel tight. My dad didn't push for more details right away. He made me pasta, handed me a hoodie that still smelled like his old cologne, and said, whenever you're ready, kid. The next morning I was ready. I told him everything. Every little fucked up detail. How Ron had gone from friendly to emotionally comatose overnight. How his kids, Mason and Tyler, pretended I was some parasite in the house. How Mom never once tried to fix it. Just told me to deal. And yeah, I told him about the trip. The one they left for without saying a damn word to me. He just sat there letting it sink in. Then, real quiet, he said, "She did this to you for years." "Yeah," I said, and I let her. I expected him to yell, or curse, or call her. Instead, he just looked tired, like the weight of what he'd just heard aged him 10 years in 1 second. He ran a hand over his face and said, "All right, I'll take care of it." That scared me more than yelling would have. I didn't know what take care of it meant, but the look in his eyes, that wasn't just a father being protective. That was a man who'd watched his kid get emotionally starved by people he once trusted, and now had a target. Still, I wasn't thinking about revenge. Not really. I was just trying to breathe again. Then 4 days later, Mom finally called. Not to check on me. Not to apologize. She was screaming, "You left the house." "No, hello, no, are you okay?" Just instant blame. Apparently, while they were gone, having the time of their lives at the beach, the house got broken into. TV gone, Ron's MacBook gone, even their ugly-ass Bluetooth speaker was gone. I tried not to laugh, I really did. "You were supposed to be watching the house," she yelled. First of all, I said, trying to stay calm, I didn't agree to anything. "You dumped that on me after you'd already left. And second, I called you to tell you I was leaving. You ignored me. You could have texted." I was mad. You knew I was mad. You left me out of a trip with no explanation and expected me to just sit there like a dog guarding your stuff. She got real quiet for a second. Then she dropped the line that made me snap. "You've always made things harder for this family." "Oh. Oh, really? You mean your family?" I said, my voice shaking. "The one I'm apparently not part of." "You know what I mean." "No, I really fucking don't." I hung up. I didn't throw my phone, didn't cry. I just stared at the wall and felt everything that had built up over the years start to harden into something else. This wasn't just about being left out. This was about being rewritten out of the script of my own life, and I wasn't going to be quiet about it anymore. The fallout came fast. Ron called. Yep. The guy who hadn't spoken to me in nearly 3 years finally decided to open his mouth, and it was to tell me I was selfish and irresponsible, and the reason this family's falling apart. I laughed, for real, out loud. This family fell apart the second I stopped pretending I didn't notice how much you all hate me. He started to say something else, but I hung up again. Twice in 1 week. Felt kind of powerful. My dad wasn't thrilled about the robbery, obviously, but he didn't yell. He called a lawyer. Told me he was filing for full custody. Said it wasn't about punishment. It was about protection. Emotional protection. "Jake," he said, "you've been surviving, not living. That ends now." I nodded, but inside something was still buzzing. Like there was a question I hadn't answered yet. Why did Ron hate me so much? I'd never been rude to him, never talked back, never made trouble. And yet for 3 years, he treated me like a disease. It didn't add up, until the truth came out. Apparently, after the robbery, Ron lost it. Started demanding Mom cut ties with me permanently. Said I was toxic. Said I was a manipulative brat. Said if she didn't disown me, he was leaving. And that's when she cracked. She told him the truth. The real reason she painted me as a monster from the beginning. It had nothing to do with me. It was about his mother. See, back when they first started dating, Ron wanted to move in with her and bring his sick mom with him. She had a nurse and everything, just needed emotional support. Mom wasn't feeling it. Said she wasn't ready. But instead of just saying that, she told Ron she was worried about me. Said I'd had problems with her past boyfriends. Said I didn't handle change well. Said I might make his mom uncomfortable. She turned me into an excuse. A scapegoat. She told him I'd said his kids were gremlins, and that his mom was a burden. Literal made-up shutty. Stuff I'd never said, never even thought. And Ron believed her. Why? Because I never spoke up. I never fought back. I stayed polite, quiet, passive. And silence apparently can be weaponized too. When Ron found out, he was livid. Not at me, at her. He sent me an email, a long one. Apologized for everything. Said he was ashamed. Said he wished he'd just talked to me directly, gotten to know me. I haven't responded yet. Not because I'm angry, but because I don't know how I feel. It's like everything I've been carrying for years, every wound, every awkward dinner, every unanswered question suddenly had a reason. And that reason was her. She did this. She built a narrative that erased me, then forced me to play along. And for what? So she wouldn't have to tell the truth to a man she was sleeping next to. Unreal. Ron left her. My dad got temporary custody while the court date gets finalized. And me, for the first time in a long time, I feel clear. Not happy, not healed, but clear. And that's something. I thought that was going to be it. Truth came out. Ron left, my dad filed for custody. End of story, right? Yeah, no, that was just intermission. Because apparently when a narcissist loses control, the next move is damage control, not apology, not reflection, just pure strategic meltdown. 2 days after Ron moved out, Mom started calling me again, not to check in, not to explain, not even to apologize. She wanted me to help her fix it. Jake, you need to talk to Ron. You're the only one he might listen to. The audacity. Like I was some PR assistant for her crumbling marriage. You want me, I said slowly, to clean up the mess you made. Lying about me. It wasn't like that, she snapped. You were difficult. You were. I actually laughed. You lied. For years. And the first time I push back, I'm difficult. You made me a villain, so you could avoid being honest. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. You picked comfort over your own son. Click. That was the last time I answered her calls. The next few days were quiet on my end, at least. On hers, chaos. Ron moved back in with his sister. His kids started therapy. I only know that because Mason, the one who never spoke to me, actually DM'd me. Hey man, I'm sorry for being cold. We were just doing what Dad said. But I heard everything now. Just wanted to say, you didn't deserve that. I stared at the message for like 10 minutes. I didn't even know how to respond. I still don't. Meanwhile, Mom's grief went public. She took to Facebook like it was the 1950s, and the internet was her diary. Sad quote images, vague statuses like, some people are too proud to come home. One post was literally a photo of our house with the caption, you don't realize what you had until it's gone. Girl, you had a whole human child, and you tossed him like expired salad. Anyway, screenshots of that post made it back to me through cousins. I didn't react, didn't reply, didn't even stalk her page. She was spiraling, and it wasn't my job to hold the net anymore. Then came court. Nothing dramatic, really. Just paperwork, Zoom hearings, a lot of uncomfortable adult conversations I had to sit through with a tight jaw and sweaty palms. But the truth, it was all on paper now. Emails, texts, witnesses. My dad came prepared like it was a war zone. The lawyer we hired was vicious, calm professional, but with that quiet kind of sharp that makes judges lean forward. And then Mom's side flopped. She had nothing but a narrative, no facts, no character witnesses besides some of her coworkers who barely knew me. When it came out that she'd lied to her husband for years and actively encouraged him to alienate me, the judge looked disgusted. And that's when something weird happened. I didn't feel relief. I felt grief. Not for her, but for me. For the version of me that kept hoping she'd come around. That maybe if I was just nicer, quieter, better, she'd see me again. That younger me who waited at the dinner table hoping someone would ask about his day. That kid's gone now. And honestly, that hurts. After the ruling, my dad got full custody. Official, signed, stamped, done. I could live with him permanently, visit Mom only if I chose to. And I didn't. Not then. The court didn't force visitation. I was old enough to say no. So I did. You'd think she'd back off after that, but she didn't. Nope. Next strategy, guilt. She started texting me things like, I still love you, you know, and families fight, but they find their way back. Cool. Maybe try not gaslighting your kid next time. Then came the money threats. If your dad's going to support you full-time, then he should pay me back for everything I spent raising you. I showed that one to my dad. He didn't say a word. Just handed the phone to our lawyer. 3 days later, Mom got a cease and desist. Silence blessed, silence followed. But it still wasn't over. Because apparently, even after all that, she still had one more card to play. 2 weeks ago, I got an email. Subject line, forgiveness. I clicked. Why, I don't know. Morbid curiosity. Maybe I hoped just a little that she'd finally get it. But no. It was 6 paragraphs of pure self-pity. She talked about how hard it had been to be a single mother, how scared she was of losing love again, how lonely she felt after Ron left. And then this gem, I only lied because I thought it was the only way I could keep the life I finally built. Cool story. Then she asked me to come home for dinner, said we could talk, rebuild. I didn't reply, but I did write something. Not to her, for me. It started as a college essay, then turned into more of a letter to myself, about identity and silence, and choosing your own family when the one you're born into leaves you starving for recognition. I ended it with this. I used to think being quiet made me strong. But sometimes silence is just a slow form of disappearing. And I'm done disappearing. My English teacher read it, cried. She asked if she could share it anonymously with other students who were struggling. I said yes, because maybe some kid out there needs to hear what I wish I heard at 14. That just because someone shares your blood doesn't mean they get to drain it. So now I'm just existing. In a better space, in a quieter one, but not the suffocating quiet I lived with before. This quiet has peace in it. I eat dinner with my dad every night. We talk, we laugh. I'm applying to schools out of state. Not to run away, just to start fresh. I'm not gonna lie and say everything's great. I still have days where I feel like I'm floating outside myself. Still wonder what could have been different if I'd spoken up sooner. But I don't hate myself anymore. I used to think I was the reason everything fell apart. Turns out, I was just the one finally brave enough to stop holding it together for everyone else. 2 months passed before I heard her voice again. Not in person, not on a call, not even in a voicemail. It was on a podcast. Yeah, you heard me. A fucking podcast. Some small local show about modern motherhood. She got herself on there, don't ask me how, and spent a solid 25 minutes talking about losing connection with her teenage son and navigating step-family boundaries. I only found out because someone in my class sent me the link and was like, "Is this your mom?" I hit play. Big mistake. She was calm, measured, spoke in that soft, "I'm the real victim here" voice she always used when she wanted people to pity her without realizing they were doing it. She never said my name, never said anything specific, but she implied everything. He was always a bit sensitive. It was difficult balancing his emotions and the needs of a new family. I think he struggled to adapt, but I tried my best. I just wish he'd understood how hard it was for me. I almost punched my laptop. Tried your best. You engineered a lie about me. You fed it to your husband, let it rot the air between us for years, and now you're rebranding yourself as a misunderstood mom on some Etsy mom podcast. Nah, you don't get to rewrite my life in your public redemption arc. I didn't say anything publicly, but that night I opened my notes app and started writing again. At first, it was just a rant, but the more I typed, the more it shaped itself into something else, something like a statement. The next morning, I recorded myself reading it, raw, unedited, no filter, no effects, just me, my voice, my story. I uploaded it to Reddit under a throwaway and titled it something like, "My mom left me behind for her new family. Now she wants forgiveness because her husband left her." I didn't expect much, but it blew up. People flooded the comments, sharing their own stories, telling me I wasn't alone. Some were pissed on my behalf. Others said they cried because they were me, or because they had been my mom and didn't realize the damage until now. It was weird and good. Because for the first time, my voice wasn't being ignored. It was being heard loud and clear. And yeah, it was anonymous, but somehow that made it feel safer. Like I could say everything I'd swallowed for years without flinching. That night, I slept better than I had in months, until the text came. From her. "Did you post something about me online? Because someone sent me a screenshot. And Jake, if this is you, you've gone too far." I stared at the message for a long time. Too far. You neglected me, gaslit me, rewrote my history. And now that people finally know the truth, I'm the one going too far. Nah. I didn't reply, just blocked the number. And then I made a second post. Not angry, not vengeful. Just facts. I broke it down clearly, how emotional neglect in families doesn't always look like screaming or slamming doors. Sometimes it's silence. Sometimes it's the way someone laughs with everyone but you. Sometimes it's not being told about a trip and waking up to an empty house like you're the family dog. That one hit even harder. A few small creators picked it up. One girl made a TikTok reading my words over a montage of childhood photos and old voicemail clips. It went viral, millions of views. My face wasn't in it, my name wasn't there, but my voice was. And it was doing something I never thought possible. It was helping people. Strangers started messaging me on Reddit, telling me they'd finally decided to go low contact, or that they'd realized they were emotionally hurting their own kids and were going to therapy. One person said, "My post helped them stop feeling guilty for moving out." I didn't feel like a hero. I just felt grounded, for once. Then a week later, something happened I didn't expect. Ron reached out again, but not with a wall of text or a passive-aggressive guilt bomb. He sent a photo. It was an old shot from my mom's house. I was maybe 14 in it, sitting on the couch with a book. Ron's 2 boys were playing video games a few feet away. He circled something. Me. In the background, alone, headphones on, completely disconnected from the scene. Under it, he wrote, "I've been going through old pictures. I see it now. I'm sorry I didn't sooner." I just stared at it for a while. That photo felt like proof. Not of the pain, but of the fact that I wasn't imagining it. I'd lived in that invisible space for so long, I started questioning if it was all in my head. That photo said, "No, it was real. And you survived it." I wrote him back. Short, honest. "Thanks for saying that. I think your kids were following your lead. But I also get it now. Someone else was pulling the strings." He replied instantly. "I'm working on it. If you ever want to talk, even just to vent, I'll listen." I haven't taken him up on it yet. Not because I don't want to, but because I'm still figuring out where forgiveness fits in the puzzle. If it fits at all. But knowing he's trying, that matters more than I expected. Meanwhile, Mom stayed quiet. I guess she finally got the memo. Or maybe the podcast fallout hit harder than I thought. Either way, she hasn't contacted me since. And it's been peaceful. My dad and I started this new thing, Thursday night pancakes. No reason, just because. We mix in chocolate chips, argue over syrup versus whipped cream. It's dumb and small and perfect. I joined a writing club at school, just a few of us meeting after hours in the library. I started sharing pieces, fiction sure, but soaked in realness. Everyone knew, nobody asked. That silence, that was the good kind. I've also been reconnecting with friends I pushed away during all the chaos. Turns out, when you stop trying to hold everything in, people actually show up. And that's the weirdest part of all this. I spent years thinking I was the problem, the weight, the complication. Now I see I was just the mirror. I reflected back what people didn't want to see about themselves. And when that mirror shattered, it wasn't my fault, it was theirs. So no, I'm not going to be the bigger person. I'm not going to pretend everything's fine. I'm not going to send a holiday card or smile at forced family reunions. But I'm also not angry anymore. I'm just done. Done being invisible. Done shrinking to fit into rooms that were never built for me. Done rewriting myself to make others comfortable. And you know what? That's not revenge. That's freedom. This might sound weird, but peace is actually kind of uncomfortable at first. Like after months, hell years of tension and silence and low-level anxiety buzzing in the background 24/7, you finally get some quiet, and your brain's like, wait, where's the chaos? I kept waiting for something to fall apart. But nothing did. School started feeling normal again. I wasn't looking over my shoulder every day or checking my phone expecting some long guilt text from my mom. I wasn't hiding in my room. I was just living. And damn, that's underrated. I'd walk into my kitchen and my dad would already have coffee going. Some mornings he'd be blasting Springsteen like it was 1982. Other mornings it'd be quiet and we'd just exist in the same space comfortably. We weren't trying to fix each other, just there. One Sunday, he looked up from his laptop and went, "So what do you think about Oregon State?" I blinked, like for college. He nodded. "They've got a good program, and they've got trees." That last part made me laugh. I knew what he meant, though. Trees equals peace, space, air, a break from all the crap. And I hadn't realized how badly I needed a real break until he said it out loud. We started planning visits. It felt weird, good weird to actually think about the future instead of just trying to survive the present. Until it wasn't. Because, of course, as soon as I started moving forward, the past tried to grab my ankle again. It started with a message, a really simple one, from a number I didn't recognize. "Hi. I know this might be crossing a line, but I'm Ron's sister." I stared at the screen, then reread it like 10 times. I had no idea what to expect. I almost deleted it, but something stopped me. I replied, "Hi, what's up?" She answered fast. I just wanted to say, "I'm sorry for not asking questions sooner. I believed what I was told. And I think a lot of people owe you an apology." I sat down, because it hit different hearing that from someone who hadn't been part of the chaos directly, but had stood by it. Passive silence hurts too, you know. We ended up texting for an hour. She told me Ron was in therapy now, that his kids were doing better, that Mason had opened up about how weird it had felt being told not to talk to me, but also not wanting to disappoint his dad. It was heavy, but honest. She asked if I ever wanted to meet up, no pressure. I didn't answer right away. But I didn't delete the message either. That same week, something else happened. Something I didn't expect at all. At school, my creative writing teacher pulled me aside after class. "Jake," she said, "can I talk to you for a second?" I thought I'd missed an assignment or something. But instead, she held up my essay, the one I'd written about identity and silence and surviving gaslighting. "I shared this anonymously at a district conference," she said. "And one of the school counselors from another district wants to use it in their youth support program. Only if you're okay with that." I think I just blinked at her. Like, what do you even say to that? I eventually nodded, and then mumbled something like, yeah, wow, okay. That night I told my dad. He just grinned and said, told you your words mattered. It's funny. My mom always talked about how hard she worked to give me a voice. But the second I actually used it in a way that didn't benefit her, she tried to shut it down. And now that same voice was helping people, maybe even kids who were stuck where I used to be, sitting in living rooms where no one sees them, wondering if they're the problem. That meant something. So I said yes. Let them share it. Because why the hell not? Maybe the best revenge isn't revenge at all. Maybe it's just becoming whole in the light of everything that tried to break you in the dark. Then came the twist I did not see coming. I was leaving school on a random Wednesday, just walking toward the parking lot, earbuds in, thinking about whether I wanted Taco Bell or Wendy's. And then I saw her, standing by the side of the building like some out-of-place mannequin. Mom. I froze. My stomach dropped. She looked smaller, not physically, just less, like her energy had deflated. I pulled out one earbud, didn't say anything. She stepped forward. Jake, she said softly, I didn't know how else to reach you. You weren't supposed to, I said. I didn't mean it to come out so harsh, but whatever, it was honest. I know I've made mistakes, she said. I raised an eyebrow. You think? That made her flinch, but she kept going. I didn't come here to argue. I wanted to see you, make sure you're okay. I crossed my arms. I've been more than okay. Since leaving, actually. She nodded, looking down. I saw the posts, the stories. Some people sent them to me. And they hurt. But they were true, and that's what makes it worse. That stopped me for a second. She finally looked me in the eye. I was selfish. I cared more about what my life looked like than how it actually felt for either of us. I didn't want Ron's mom living with us, and I was too much of a coward to say it, so I used you. I didn't say anything. I just watched her unravel. I told myself it was temporary, that I'd fix it. But the longer I let it go, the easier it was to keep lying. And when you started pulling away, I let you. Silence. The good kind this time. Then she asked, Is there any way back? I didn't even think. I just shook my head. Not right now, I said. Maybe not ever. I'm not angry. But I'm done giving you chances you don't earn. Her eyes welled up, but she nodded. I deserved that, she whispered. Yeah, I said. You did. She didn't try to hug me. Didn't pull the I'm your mother card. Just turned and walked back to her car. That was the moment I realized she finally heard me. Not because I yelled, not because I cried. Because I said nothing extra. Just the truth. And then I went home, ate leftover pancakes, watched some dumb YouTube video, slept 8 full hours. I didn't feel triumphant, just clean. There's a difference. You don't always need a grand ending to feel closure. Sometimes it's just a random Wednesday in the school parking lot. Sometimes it's saying, no, not this time, and walking away. And meaning it.